the hards or the softs or the meds as well, and it's full rain. Jesus,
yeah,
full
I
rain.
wasn't. I didn't see that at
What?
all. I didn't. There was
Full
no
rain.
indication. No
I think
indication. But here at Miami, we will have a
a
wet race.
full
I don't
wet
know if
race.
is
It
it.
might go
It
to
is. I
England.
think it is the full wet tires as well because I can see into the pit lane, the pits,
Yeah,
the
on the
garage
motor
of the
garage, yeah.
Mercedes, the Mercedes garage. I can see the blue banded full wet tires. So this has put another twist on the Miami Grand Prix, as we're going to have a full wet race. Will the race? Is it forecast for the whole race, or will it dry up at the
I don't.
end? We'll have to
Yep.
wait and see.
Because I don't know, because I was in a party before with like some of the drivers, and they had no indication at all. To be
Yeah,
honest,
so this is
it's
going to
quite-
be a big surprise because obviously their setups are
Oh,
going to
oh, we
be
dry.
set for the dry.
This could be like
We do have a
crazy
formation
race
lap
then.
this time,
And then,
which is nicer because last time we didn't have a formation lap,
yep.
and I was expecting one, so
Is
we
anybody
went to
on
5 red lights. I
input
wasn't
at
really
all?
ready, but yeah, this is going to throw a massive twist. As oh
Oh, he
dear,
spins it. He nearly spins
Banter
it.
Brandon has already lost the rear end of the car on the formation lap, and he's looking very, very shaky in that Scuderia rear Ferrari. Going through, so this is going to be an exciting race as he loses the back end again. Coming through the S's. This is going to be a very dramatic race. Obviously, these setups are built for the dry conditions. Clearly had no indication if what you're saying is true. Yeah. Holotex saying it said dry, and everybody is confused
Yep.
at these wet conditions.
Yep. Because everybody will be running like low wings, so the rotation around the slow speed will be quite bad. So it's gonna be quite interesting. About like sector 2 will be quite interesting now with like all the slower corners as well. To be honest.
One thing that I think we'll have to look out for is a turn 1 collision, because in the dry at Paul Ricard we saw it happen. Turn 1, big incident, and it meant a lot of people had to box for new front wings at the start of the race, and it meant that Holotex DNF'd straight away as he basically span, and a lot of people went into the side of him. Now, with this rain, with the fact that everyone's setups are not built at all for the rain, this could pose a massive issue for for everyone into turn 1. People are going to have to be very cautious, otherwise there could be a severe collision.
Oh, he's spun it.
And
He's really pinned it.
he has. Banter Brandon almost putting it into the wall, doing a Sergio Perez at Spa 2021 under the safety car, under the formation lap conditions, almost putting it in a wall. And I think he did make contact with the wall, but it doesn't appear to be any end plate damage or any front wing damage. So, fortunately, I think he's going to be okay for the race start. But if he's driving like this as the pole sitter, then it's not looking like it's going to be exactly. I've not got high hopes for the people behind him, as we are going to line up on the grid. We've got wet tyres, and it looks like.
Yep, a person spinned it. Yep, P17 spinned it in the Williams. Fargo spinned it.
Oh dear, has he got damage? Or...
No, there's no damage on the formation lap, but he's
right,
spinned
okay,
it a few times.
fair enough.
Yeah. People
But
won't be practicing either like for the wet. Nobody will be practicing for this as well. So.
Yeah, this is going to pose massive problems for the next 29 laps that await us as the lights start here for the Miami Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and this is a terrible camera angle, I have to say, so we're going to swap to Rayner, but there's no one better with a better camera angle. This is quite a good one into turn 1 though, and it looks like Michael's got the jump on Rayner. He'll have the inside line into turn 1. Michael going for the outside line. We'll see these two battling through the next few corners, but Michael gets himself up into P2 off the race start a bit fidgety on the rear end. And it's like Holotex, it is Holotex in the McLaren, drops to the back of the field off the start. I'm guessing with a spin, is that?
Yeah, I think he had contact with the Ferrari of JBL, I think, and yes.
Wow, that's...
And it's been a huge collision as well. And it's a full safety car already.
Is that a full safety car already? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
but
it is, yeah.
What a chaotic start to the Miami Grand Prix here. I mean, I know that Miami has very...
It's a virtual safety car.
It's only a virtual safety car, and JRB has got
a drive-through as well.
A drive-through.
So, and then Boswell had a drive-through as well for like
for something
fast,
in the
yeah.
formation lap, I believe, yeah?
I think it was a jump start actually, like I can
Oh,
check
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah. That must have been an early jump start because he got it very early on as the lights were on, so
Yeah.
not great for the other Ferrari, but for this man, Banter Brandon, he was struggling a lot under the formation lap, but he's gotten away fantastically after the race start, and he pulled out a 2-second gap to Michael before the virtual safety car, so he's looking stronger than I thought he would be for this race. Unfortunately, although we did have a few first corner incidents, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
And Tom spinned it again in sector 3, and he's like got wing damage as well. So
heartbreaking for the man who was on pole for a very long time in qualifying before he got disqualified for something that sounds like it wasn't his fault. That is very, very unfortunate for him as he spins it, gets end plate damage, and F1 Spuds picked up a 5-second time penalty, I'm guessing for speeding under the safety car. Or possibly collision with someone under the safety car as well, because he dropped a few positions possibly. Or that's Dirty Spy actually, who dropped a few. So a lot of people pitting, 16th place downwards, all pitting. So the 2 Alpines and the 2 Alfa Romeos, both cars, which I said the Alpines and the Alfa Romeos look strong for this Grand Prix, and they found themselves at the very start. Well, this is a lot of drama under the virtual safety car, not even under racing conditions, and he's span it. Does he have front wing damage? It doesn't seem it. I think he should be clear.
Yep, and it's horrendous for like the Alphas as they're like double stacking as well.
Yeah, double stacking. Well, both Alpines and the Alfa Romeos had to double stack there, and you can still see Hella High still stuck in his pit box. He leaves it now, but that is just not what Alfa Romeo or Alpine would want to be seeing. To both drivers, very far down the order, but we've still got 27 laps ahead of us, probably. And I think yellow flags have been removed, and we're racing again, and it's now almost a 3-second gap Banter Brandon has to Michael. So a brilliant VSC restart from him, and Michael might be under pressure from the AlphaTauri and the Red Bulls behind him, as that's James looking for a move on his teammate down the straight, but he doesn't go for it, and Boswell managed to cover off the overtake. So your order,
Boswell's pen. I don't know if he's damaged, but it might be like an inters, maybe.
Oh, this could be a shout because he doesn't have any damage, and he is pitting now. So I'd stay monitored on that. As is he going to put on the intermediate tyres?
I don't know.
Are we already at that part in the Grand Prix? No, he hasn't.
He's doing his drive-through. He's doing his drive-through.
Oh, he's doing his drive-through. Yeah, that's my bad. So that's a smart idea, to be fair. And he looks like a driver with pace, so hopefully he can find himself back into this race. But we see Banter Brandon now taking a very slow line, almost running it off the track. He might pick up a warning for exceeding track limits there, but very slow through that section of the track. But I think a lot of people are struggling for grip, especially with their setups. But yeah, so far your order is Brandon, Michael, Rayner, James, JLB, Vargo, Boswell, Bendel, Vinchessa and Topol rounding out the top 10, and then Olatex with the lap 1 incident, Apfel, Redsigo, I might pronounce that wrong, but you know, Psychotix, Jake, Tom, Spud, Dirty Spy, Hella and Hella High, who a lot of them have served stuff in the pits as well. And at the moment we only have 2 people on penalties, which is JLB for something illegal under the safety car, ignoring yellow flags I think, and Fargo, and I think he might have got a 5-second or a drive-through, I'm not really sure what happened there, but the gap has risen now to almost 5 seconds. It will be 5 seconds sooner rather than later to Michael, our previous race winner at the Circuit Paul Ricard. So his setup must be horrendous here.
Dry, yeah.
And I think Banter Brandon's is actually quite dynamic for the track because he's pulling away, and although he looked really, really shaky under, during the formation lap, he's had a brilliant start, and something must have happened there for Michael, sorry, because he's dropped back another second. It's now 6 seconds the gap, and he's under heavy pressure from H. Rayner, who will ride on board with now, and he's just got no grip. I mean, he's so twitchy on the rear end, is Michael, in that Haas car. but they're all so slow through that long left-hander that it's just like completely different to what you normally see in the qualifying sessions with the soft tyres. Oh, and that's contact between Rayner and Michael. Is there damage to Rayner's front wing? I don't know. I can't see any. But there might be. I think he's gotten away with it, but he was looking for a move, and Michael just drifted right across and gave Rayner no time to think, and they came together down the straight.
And my game's glitched, to be honest. I went in the race direction and it's now just glitched on my game now, to be honest. So.
Can you not see anything?
I'm still managed to control my camera angle and positions, but it just documents the race director, so it's so weird.
You might have to restart, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Down the back straight we go then. The AlphaTauri of Rayner getting closer to the Haas of Michael, who's now almost 7.5 seconds behind Banter Brandon, and that gap is increasing. So Brandon setting a fastest lap time again, a 1:42.8. He's gone even faster, and now here comes Rayner into turn 1. He's going to try it the long way round, but there's no gap. He's going to go for the switchback, but Michael cuts him off, won't let him through, and they're going to continue through the right-hander. But if these two are fighting so much, then James might find a way to just slip through. If a gap opens up, Bendel picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane on the entry. And it's through this section of the track where Michael seems to be pulling away from Rayner, and James seems to be, well, getting closer to the back of the AlphaTauri. So I don't think the AlphaTauri setup's really built for Sector 2.
It's built for the straights, probably, to be honest. Because look how much he's like getting into like Alpha Romeo on the half here.
Yeah. But down the straight we go. Rayner gets closer and closer to Michael, but not close enough to make any sort of move. That was where I think they had the contact possibly before.
Yeah, because I've got to give a shout out to like Fargo. He's up like 12 positions like so far in this race. He started like P17 and now he's like P5 now.
Oh, Fargo, yeah, that is quite a good stuff.
Yeah.
But was he the one who picked up the drive-through at the start?
No, I don't think so, but he's got a 3 second time for like corner cut and Fargo, so he's got a penalty now.
Right, so. Yeah. I'll actually, once with this battle's over with, because he's getting very close as Rayner, will he send it down the inside into the hairpin? He won't, so he'll lay off at the moment, but the Haas runs it a bit deep, and they're going to be very close. Oh, through the start-finish straight, and that's a bit twitchy for the rear end of Rayner. But we'll just see him getting in the slipstream. They're going to be very close into turn 1, but he will not make a move yet. And he just drops off at this point in the track. I think it's Sector 1 is where Rayner struggles, and James is actually quite good through it, and he'll gain time on the AlphaTauri, but then he'll drop back for the rest of the lap. But this is where Sector 1 and a bit the start of Sector 2, this is where Michael needs to really pull out a gap, because this is where he's stronger, I think, than Rayner. But going back to the front is Banter Brandon, who hasn't put a foot wrong since the formation of this race.
He's going for the move. No.
Oh yeah, he has, sorry, I go to Banter Brandon for 1 second,
James
and
might go for the move.
Gets back, and here comes James around the outside, can't do it. Michael blocks him, but Rayner in the AlphaTauri's got past the Haas, and I'm sorry I missed that, because he looked quite a way off, and he must have done. I think Michael must have.
Yep, I think Michael has high downforce, and Hearn has low downforce. I think they feel like I think one setup's made for the straights and one setup's like made for the corners. I think so.
Because you can see
the
right behind him,
like pulling away as well. Like the AlphaTauri's pulling away.
But down the straight we go. James is going to be very close now to the back of the Haas, who's a lot slower down this straight, and he's going to go for it. He pulls to the inside, and he'll say thank you very much as he gets that move done into the hairpin. Will he run it deep? He might do, because back comes Michael trying to perform the switcheroo, but he gets completely cut off, and they almost make contact as Michael has to slam on the brakes there, but they don't, and that's James up into P3. Remember, the Banter Brandon currently with a 14-second gap, but will that gap start getting closed up by Rayner? and was Michael just holding him and James back?
I would
We'll have to wait
say
and see.
Brandon's gone, to be honest, because it's only about 22 laps left. So if Brandon still loses like about 7/10 a lap, they'll catch him on like the final lap, to be honest. So I think he's gone, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
he's now up to like 15 seconds now. And like,
I mean,
bigger.
obviously we do have to factor in pit stops, but even with, you can have the best strategy in the world, and you wouldn't be able to overtake Brandon through the pit
And it's a
stops. You
full
wouldn't
safety
even
car,
be able to
like full safety car or VSC.
Oh, it's a full. I think it's a full safety car because they're all going. It is. The safety car's pulled out. I see him going past the Alfa Romeo of Spud, I believe. And I don't know what that is. Is it Bendel or?
Cox has like got a drive-through. I don't know how.
Yes,
some cars are going like very like slowly for some reason. Like they're
I'm
like
not sure.
like I know, it's so weird.
I'm not sure what happens. I can't see anything on the track map, and I can't see anything with any cars. So someone must have got damaged. Yeah. But I just saw Jake leaving the pits.
Because I think somebody spin it out turn 3, I think. And then
possibly increase
and Brandon pits.
So Brandon's going to pit early for another set of wets.
It could be inters though, so it depends.
Yeah, he's coming for the wets though.
It's wet. He won't lose anything anyway.
A decent stop from the Ferrari pit crew. And Rayner pits as well. So does James. So does Michael. And I'm guessing everyone else will as well. So the Red Bull. No, sorry.
I thought you'd say, but is that a good pit stop from like the Ferrari pit crew? Like I've got to give them like
that's what I was thinking. I was like, finally they've actually done something correctly. Obviously, this game still needs a few tweaks to make it more realistic because a Ferrari strategy that's actually half decent shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, to be honest. It's like a Ferrari 1-2 now.
Yeah, well, I don't think JLB pit though. That's the one thing.
He didn't pit though. No, he didn't.
So has he pit? Has he pit earlier on? Because he did have a time penalty. So
no, he didn't, because everybody's got 7 laps. He's on lap 8 now, so he's got 7 laps to wear, so he's not pitted. Yeah, because Red Single hasn't pitted, Jonah hasn't pitted, and the LB hasn't pitted either. So.
Well, I think Brandon is now behind the safety car, and JLB will join him very soon. But I'm trying to get the detail. Here we go. With the so 7 lap old wet tyres. We're on the 8th lap, so I'm sure he did have a penalty at one point though, didn't he? JLB.
I'll check just now on the race director. JLB. He got a drive through, yes, on that one.
He had a drive through, but that wouldn't have been a tyre change. So although it is a Ferrari 1-2 for now,
it won't be for long because the tyre will be
he will have to pit 7 lap old wet tyres. And especially tyre wear in the wet is very important because those wets will end up being slicks, and under wet conditions, slick tyres, as we know, will not hold up. So he'll have to pit pretty soon, otherwise he's risking DNF, really, isn't he? From spinning out.
Unless he does a good setup which is good on like traction, so he could pull it off, but it's quite hard.
We'll have one more lap possibly under the safety car, but it depends because they might have to wait until all of the cars.
Yeah, Bendel is like half a lap behind.
Which is he's closer to the safety car's closer to the back of Bendel than Bendel is to the back of the safety car, which is a bit problematic, to say the least. But we will give you a run through of the whole grid. We've obviously got. Actually, I'll check the position changes as well. So, everyone apart from JLB, Redsigo, and Well, yeah, those are the only two, so I don't know how to pronounce Red, the other Mercedes guy, Red
Sigo. Red Sigo, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just call him Red Sigo. Red Sigo and JLB are the only two people who haven't stopped this race, and somehow Bendel stopped 3 times, which will probably explain why he's so far back.
And Brendan's like retired on track as well. Like retired on track.
Yeah, Bendel, he's retired on track, so that might be another lap on the safety car, but they probably will just remove his car from the track.
And that will be a penalty as well, to be honest with you, like retiring on track, if there's no footage of him like losing the car.
Yeah. I think what he probably, because he was so close to the pit lane, I don't really understand why he didn't just pull into the pits and retire.
Unless he outbraked himself and just went straight on there, because the barriers are quite close. Yeah. Like the circuit there.
But it said he retired, not well, actually, yeah, retired. To be fair, normally in qualifying, I think it says different things. So, but as it stands, the position changes are Manta Brandon stays in P1 after his very blistering lap in the qualifying session. JLB makes 3 places but still has to pit. Rayner drops down from P2, but he will regain that position after JLB pits. James is up 5 places, will be up 6. Michael is down 2 places, but will only be down 1 after JLB has pit. But Michael's the previous race winner. Michael, his setup is just not suited for this track as well.
Conditions.
Yeah, suited for the conditions. Sorry. Boswell up 7, will be up 8. Red Sigo up 11, should be up 12. So great race for him.
But Red Sigo hasn't pitted either, so.
Oh yeah, true, he hasn't, so he'll probably be down quite a bit. Then we've got Topple up 2, Vinchester up 7, Fargo up 7, with a penalty, however, and Olatex down 5, Tom up 7, the man who was on pole for a long time in qualifying and then got disqualified for trying to spin the car back around. Dirty Spy down 2, Upfeld stays, but he has a penalty. So does F1 Spud, who's down 11 places. Zycotics or
Zycotics, I think.
Zycotics, yeah, actually, yeah. Zycotics down 1 with a penalty. Jake down 9, and Hella High down 11. So it's been a good race for a lot of people in the top 10, but then after the top 10, it's been a pretty disappointing performance. Apart from Tom, who's clawed his way back up from the very back. And that's a drive-through penalty for Zycotics as well that he needs to serve sooner rather than later. Safety car is in this lap as well. F1 Spud with 3 seconds, Uphill Jonah with 3 seconds, and Fargo with 6 seconds. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But
when will Brandon go? Like, will he go early or like late?
Yeah, that is true because they're coming down the back straight now, and
he could go like mid corner because of his like really good traction.
Yeah,
to be honest,
we'll ride on board with him now. We'll ride on board with JLB, his teammate,
and
it looks
like
gone, I think. He's already gone.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
Delicate on the throttle, but it's not enough because he does lose the back end a little bit through the final turn onto the start-finish straight. And he's already a second ahead of his teammate, who is on the tyres.
Like Zycotics has an incident with Hella High as well.
Yeah, we'll look at the two of the people at the back of the pack. Hella High has to pit, and Zycotics
as well. Instant Boswell and Mikhail. There's been an incident. But forward turn 4. To be honest.
Oh yeah. Wait, Michael's just dropped off. And then
he just dropped off. Yeah.
He's come back up again,
but Bug on the move on that twin cruiser.
We go down.
You know,
and there's not much happening at the front.
There's some D-signal. I think red.
2 Alpines are fighting though.
Yep. Tom
and that's very close between Dirty Spy and Tom. Tom holding them off so far as James picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that is the Mercedes ghosting as the Alpine goes through. Oh, a snap of oversteer. The dirty spy, and he's looking very uncomfortable in these conditions.
And Brandon already has like a 2-second gap, Brandon, like already.
Yeah, so Brandon setting the fastest lap in qualifying and showing that he has an overwhelming pace advantage on this track. He goes faster again with those fresh wet tyres. A 142.3 for him, which obviously a lot faster than anyone else.
There's been an instant, I think Vincenzo has pitted, so.
Yeah, Vincenzo's pitted, probably with damage, I'm guessing, because he had pretty fresh tyres. But the gap to JLP is now 3.2 seconds for Brandon. And then
Rainer battling here as well, like Fog going all into the battle.
So James is going to have a run on his teammate Boswell. And is Boswell yet to... No, Boswell's fit, I think.
Yeah, they have, yeah. It's only JBL and Red Seagull who haven't hit. So, yeah. And Fargo's going for the move on like Tommy. And there's like a bit of contact as well, but...
And Spargo got past? Is he? He's in the
no,
Williams.
But then Tom goes to the move again.
So. We're watching this battle between the two Red Bulls, but we'll move to the battle between 4P9 as Olatex picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and that's very, very deep. Fargo outbrakes himself, and lots of people picking up 3-second time penalties here. And Fargo would have had a brilliant run on Tom down the straight, but he had to cut the corner.
For the move on like Boswell.
James was going to go for it down the inside, but he backed off because I think he realised that if he gets this wrong, he's going to take them both out of the Grand Prix. Good awareness from the teammates of Red Bull. Brandon goes faster again, increasing his time by 2 seconds over this last lap. It's an absolutely breathtaking drive from him.
He's like F.A. elite, to be honest. Just flies away.
He's just in these conditions. But even in qualifying, he was 4.5 tenths faster than P2, and he's just showing this kind of pace as Fargo picks up
another 3 seconds. I mean,
which is not
Fargo's now at like 9 seconds now. So.
That is really
as
Psychotics is retired from the
on track again. So, and it just
the same area, and that's another safety car. So,
if I was JLT, I would put a JLB. I would probably box, to be honest. Like the 12 level is wet, so I box now. Why is everybody going like so slow now? It's so weird. Look.
I think there's something with Delta possibly.
Yeah, because I think it's like Miami's like the new track, so I don't know if it's about like a wet safety car. And who's left? Psychotics left because DNF. That might make them all be like quite unstable. So I don't know.
Oh, that's... I was riding on board with JLB there, but it literally was on, I think it was on Tom. So I'm not really sure what that was about. I'm just gonna do something with the audio settings. So.
Both has left session again. So. And JLB pits as well, so.
Yeah, so JLB is pit now. It was sort of a free pit stop for him, but I don't know if this has really benefited him because he will come out.
And Spod's left the session as well, so I don't like what's happening here, but like he's left. And it's like illegal overtakes everywhere, like so I have no clue. So
did Spud leave the session, but his AI is still driving, but people
yes. Because there's like illegal overtakes, because look, you're getting like all these 5-second penalties. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to check. I'll go on the
yeah.
penalties. So Fargo now with 14 seconds worth of time penalties, which is really, really unfortunate for him.
And
I
hella
mean,
high goes in the intros as well. Hella high on the
hella
intros.
high on the Inter, so that is a shout. We'll see how he performs, but I mean, judging from how wet it looks out there, I just don't think that it is dry enough at the moment.
But the dry line though might help, but it's still like insanely wet. But
Yeah, well, the dry line might help, but looking from the
cameras, the weather's
the
like
broadcast cameras, you can see a dry line. You can kind of see a dry line, but it's not. It doesn't look like water's being cleared enough, especially not helping. It won't be helping with the sick loss. You can kind of see from this view that I'm on right now, looking at hella high, that there is a dry line.
And P2 has ghosted now, so I have no idea why.
Yeah, maybe I think he's letting his AI drive, because when you let your AI drive, it goes.
Because now, because I think it's to be like, I don't know, but like he's just went. I have no idea like what's happening here. People are like ghosting like
he's
crazy.
been overtaken by
Boswell.
So I don't think Boswell will be willing to give that position back. And he spun! He spun, he's been hit from behind by Toppel, and now Rayner will rejoin. He'll go slightly side by side with Michael, but he's now been dropped from P2 to P5 because he got spun around by the Haas of Toppel. So I will not be surprised if there's some sort of steward's inquiry at the end of the race, because
I'm gonna spend like my whole night like doing this sadly, to be honest.
So we'll have to see both. I'd love to see both.
Some POVs, yeah.
Yeah, the same both POVs. I'm looking in the Discord chat, and Spud is saying that he can't join the session because apparently the host left.
Yeah, because Psychotics left, so yeah.
Psychotics left, and he was the host.
Yep. So that's why I said before, like with the issues like with the lobby now, to be honest. So yeah, that's why you don't leave a lobby if you like the lobby host, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always been like that. It was like that it was really bad last year's game. Because James cut to corner a little bit there.
Yeah.
I saw on the broadcast.
Because he's ghosted, so.
Yeah, true. But it was really bad. I used to race in the league for last year's game, and I remember the host left, and I ended up going from I was like P1 with about a second's gap to being P1 with 2 laps of a gap, and it was just really glitched. Everyone ended up being like 2 laps behind me, and it was just like pretty much the race was ruined at that point. Which is quite frustrating.
I'm gonna see if she's like the lobby host at all, but I'll see if I can like invite anybody at all. But is it in the lap at all or what?
What was that? Sorry.
I'm gonna try to find out who's like the lobby's host and like try and like invite Spud.
Well, I think it's like well, yeah, the new host. I'm not sure who that was. I don't think you can see. I don't think you can check though.
Yeah. I'll just feel like a message out. So see.
Yeah. But we've only got 13 laps of this race to go.
Yeah.
And it'll be 12. Well, it'll be 13 actually, if the safety car hits this lap, because we've got obviously.
Because the path is like closing up as well. So.
Yeah, but as it is, Brandon, Boswell, James, Toppel, Rayner, who was P2, now P5, Michael, who was P2, now P6, Olatek's P7, so that's been a bit of a recovery drive from him.
But Tom is P15 though, so he's not in a good recovery at all.
No, he had got.
No, I think he pitted again. I think he pitted again. I think.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see the. I wonder if anyone else actually is on. No, well.
Oh my God!
Who was it?
What JRB just done? He overtook like 3 people.
Yeah, I just saw.
I have no idea what's happening here.
What just happened there?
Yeah, I have no clue, but there'll be like illegal overtakes everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw something happen.
Yeah.
I saw something happen on the left side of my screen with the table, but
safety car should be
I didn't see anything
this lap as well, but
yeah. But I mean, Vincenza is close enough. Yeah, safety car is in this lap, so we'll watch on from Brandon, who's got the job of trying to perfectly execute another safety car restart, and he showed that he's got
Brandon
the
go? James has overtaken
overwhelming
Boswell.
pace.
I think James has overtaken Boswell. To be honest.
Oh yeah, he has, yeah. So I don't know, I really don't know what's happening. James with only a 3-second time penalty, but Jake picks up another penalty for ignoring yellow flags. But will we go underway? He's going to leave it very late. This time it's Brandon, but I think he's gone.
And he's gone.
And he's very, very twitchy with the rear end, and that is not as good as that is not as good of a restart as he had last lap, and we'll ride on board with the Red Bull of James. We've got yellow flag, and that's a situation, an incident between
Shaky and Hearn has pit.
Rayner has pit. And that's a mistake from James, which has let his teammate Boswell go through, and so has Topo. So the man who was looking nicely in P2, going to fight for P1, has dropped back, and that time penalty, he needed to be in P2 to have he needed to be in P1 to have a fighting chance of getting a decent position with that time penalty, all things taken into account. So at the moment, Brandon is going to start pulling away like he did last time, and as long as he doesn't put doesn't make any mistakes. So, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be okay for this Grand Prix. But you never know what can happen in this sport.
Boswell is keeping with Brandon a little bit,
but he dropped back. He was 1.5 behind, and now he's 2 seconds. So Brandon's overwhelming pace is already starting to kick in over a lap's time, and we ride on board with James, who's very close to the hat of Topo, and down the straight we go. He will have a nice slipstream, and he's actually going quite a bit faster, 5 miles an hour faster down this straight, but he won't be close enough to make any sort of move.
I feel like the Haas have like high downforce setups as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right with that one. Taking a lot of curve there. James being very, very brave, because if he takes a little bit less curve there, he would have spun instantly. That's pretty much an auto spin curve, so you've got to be very careful how you take them. But he's managing to stick to the back of Topo quite nicely. Obviously, these new cars for the 2022 season are built to do that, but he drops back a little bit as he gets a bit out of shape through a few corners. But Topo not looking the cleanest either, losing the rear end, and that's James. He's spun and he's gone into the wall, but I don't know if he's got damage. We'll see him emerge from the corner.
He doesn't have any damage, no.
Doesn't look like it's visible damage, but there might be some sort of damage that we can't see to the front wing. I know that is a thing that you get sometimes, but that's not good at all. That's 2 mistakes that have cost him, well,
Fargo and JLB are like going for side by side as well. Fargo's going like side by side as well. And like P8 as well.
They are down the inside of JLB. JLB trying to stick it round the outside. He goes a bit wide off the track, and now Fargo is going to have the outside line, and there's contact, and that sends JLB to the side, and now he's getting taken by Tom through the braking zone. I think there's more contact, and now he's being overtaken by Dirty Spy, and there was almost more contact, but they did ghost. So that is horrendous for JLB. He went from fighting with Fargo to getting overtaken by Tom and Dirty Spy immediately.
James, going ollie now, James. I like the last corner.
Oh, he did send one on the McLaren. The McLaren runs it very wide, almost hits the wall, but doesn't. Manages to stay out of trouble. This is Olatex we're looking at, and he gets it all out of shape going through the penultimate corner, and now James is going to be pushing him along. Into turn 1 they go, but James backs out again, and Olatex will keep P5 for now. But a lot of fighting has suddenly started happening, as we did have yellow flags through sector 3 previously. I think there was a problem with the Aston Martin and an Alfa Romeo of F1 split pits. I think that's his AI.
Yeah, like pit plus new set of wets, yeah.
so far. We had a lot of action and then none, and that's a spin.
And Dirty Spy
from
spun.
Dirty Spy. He's lost it, and he's spun around, and he rejoins behind Jake. But
And
someone
Fargo and JLB again. And there's contact, and JLB has lost his front. No, Fargo's like lost his front wing.
Fargo's lost his front wing.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, and he has. Yes, he has. So I wonder what will be said about that. I mean, I didn't see the incident, but they look like they went.
as well. So.
And yeah, he's really struggling now, so he's gonna have to pit this lap. But I think 3 second time penalty for James again, so that's really not helping his case.
And
he's
Fargo,
had a pretty.
like a number of legs for Fargo as well.
I feel like that's a bit unfair of a penalty, considering that he kind of has to cut corners, considering his front wing damage. So he doesn't really have a choice. He's trying to make the corners, but he can't. And if he slows down even more, it's a bit dangerous. So, I know he'll be boxing this lap.
Yep, James is still playing like all year.
Olatex again on the inside curve. They almost touch, but James Olatex backs out, and around the outside goes James, and he should have that move done going into turn 1. Olatex will not be able to fight that one back. But he does run it deep, does James, and he did that he did that a few laps ago, and they almost touch again. These two are getting very, very close, and he's going to go for it back down the inside, but he has to back out, and he lost the rear end and hit the wall, and he's lost his front right end plate. Well, they were fighting hard, and I thought surely they would make contact, and they didn't end up making contact, but Olatex did with the wall as a result from racing. But James runs it deep, and now Olatex is going to capitalise off his mistake, and he's got back through, even with the end plate damage. But James is going to come back at him. This is brilliant racing, and James is now going to go for it around the outside. Olatex on the inside line, but I think James has back past him. I think, yes, he is, and he's made the overtake work on Olatex, but James does run it deep again. And this is a problem that he's having. He's outbraking himself as Olatex gets very twitchy with the rear end. And this has brought Apfel very close to the back of these two for this battle for P5. Down the straight they go then, and James getting all out of shape, out of the corner. And now Apfel drops back a little bit. But here comes Olatex down the straight, even with that end plate damage. James can't really fight him. But we'll look to the side, and he must have higher downforce. And Olatex brakes later, but he outbrakes himself. And James gets back past him.
But will Ollie still go for the move here? On James
yes,
here.
Still battling for it. And now we come down the start finish straight. Splash of ERS used for Olatex. I'm guessing that James will be using a lot of his. Neither of them run it too deep through turn 1. And as it stands, James will keep that P5, but that was absolutely epic, as I think James might have touched the wall a little bit there, losing the rear end.
And Tom went on the move for like Ollie as well. Tom has climbed right back into this, and Rayner has retired from the session. The man who looked very comfortable this race, I think P2 off the start, has retired. It's unfortunate for him, but Olatex must be struggling. We've got lots of issues at the back. Yellow flags, left, right and centre, sector 1, sector 3. Double wave yellows in sector 3. As now we ride on board with Tom down the kind of straight. And he's done this, he's done a dummy. He's gone for the dummy, and they do make contact as he goes down the inside. Olatex comes right across him, and Tom can't get out of the way. And through goes Jonah. Apfel Jonah, we weren't even looking at him at all. We didn't even see him for this fight. But he's made his way through. Full safety car. And there's a full safety car after Apfel Jonah makes his move. It's brilliant, and he's been on the touch. Olatex and Jonah have touched onto the safety car. Olatex brakes a little bit too hard, and Apfel just goes right into the back of him. So this, and does he pick up a penalty for that? I knew he's got a penalty. Drive through, Jake has got a drive through. Jake Jake's got a drive through. So.
That Jake United guy, he's got a bad race gets even worse for the Aston Martin of Jake. But absolutely biblical scenes, as now a lot of people are pacing on lap 21 here.
And it's Inters.
And Banter Brandon has.
Oh, well, the Inters here.
Is it time for Inters?
I would not say so, to be honest, because everybody else has went wet. So
yeah, everyone has. Who went inters?
But the two Ferraris have. Will this be like another like Ferrari strategy blunder here?
Well, we were saying earlier on that surely he can't screw this race up, and even no matter what strategy he chose, he couldn't make this. He couldn't screw up his own race. But he's gone for the inters. I'm not sure what his race engineer has been telling him, but it does not look like inter conditions. But one thing I think we should take away from this is that Van Brandon, he's been so much faster than everybody else this whole race. He's clearly a very good driver at the Miami circuit. I don't know if this decision. I don't think this decision is right, but I think we might have to trust him on this one because I can't lie. He's been very good this whole race. He's been making the right strategy calls with his pit stops. He's been doing pretty much everything correctly, and even in qualifying he was showing pace. I think we should just trust him on this one.
I think it's like the Ferrari first, to be honest, because both of them have went in there, to be honest.
Both of them, even JLB.
Yeah.
JLB doesn't have much to lose of being in P10, but Van Brandon has everything to lose. So, if there is a possibility that his team were telling him to box for the inters, and he was worried that everyone else would box for inters as well, so he had to box, because otherwise he would have been much slower. Clearly nobody, apart from him and JLB, have boxed for the intermediate tyres, which means that this could be a complete wrong strategy call.
Yeah, or it could be amazing, it
could be an absolute stroke of brilliance from the Ferrari strategist, but we don't really see that often. So
yeah,
unfortunately, it's looking like Brandon might have messed up this race, but I don't know. We won't know until the safety car pits, which will be next lap.
And Buzz those pits, so he might go for like inters as well. It depends.
We'll check.
And the Ferrari just went for the inters, yes, inters.
And it is inters. So that is a brilliant strategy call from Ferrari.
Brandon.
And I cannot believe it, but they've actually pulled off the most incredible strategy call I could ever see. They boxed him a lap early, and then everyone has kind of caught on and realised, well, actually,
but there won't be enough time though, because they've got already been a lap.
So, although these people have boxed for inters, they're going to be a long way off the safety car. One of those being Jake, who is so far back. He's been out there 52 seconds to the car in front. I mean, it's just really not been his day here
but if the safety
Miami.
Car is in this lap, everybody who's still on wet can't pit until after the safety car comes in.
So they're
going to lose for like so much time. So.
Very, very problematic for everyone who's still on the wets. And well, those people still on the wets are Michael, Tom, Helahai, Toffel, Vincenza, Dirty Spy, Apfel Jonah, Spud, Red Seago, Fargo, and that's all of them. Buswell, Olatex, James, Jake, and then JLB and Van Brandon are all on the intermediate tyre, and I do think that they have made the correct call to come in for the intermediate tyres.
Dried up as well, like there's less puddles as well.
Yeah, you can see less puddles, and you can see there's a much more clear dry line. A very
and there's some. I don't know why Topo was ahead of Hellhigh for a bit, but I have no idea. But.
Just something he probably accidentally overtook.
But the Hasses might like double stack though, so this might be a blunder for like the Hasses, because like P1 and 5. So this might affect Topo.
Yeah. And also Mike Ailes' race is probably over already. The person who
what has happened
the
here?
Safety car's out for another lap.
But what's happened here? Like at the back.
There's a massive gap.
They're going so slow.
Apfel Jonah, or no, it's Dirty Spy, sorry, leaves a massive gap to Vincenza, slows them all right down. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, because this,
the safety car's
I saw the bunch I just saw like the bunch just like break out, so I have no clue, to be honest. But yeah.
But I can say for absolute definite that this has been a race that's definitely lived up to, lived up more than what I was expecting. The Miami Grand Prix in real life this season.
Jakey's got another 5 seconds. I think he's gonna like.
I think
like,
he just
retire
needs to
here.
retire. He's going to be very close to DNF. DSQ, sorry, being disqualified at this point.
And is he actually still going to race here, or has been DQ'd?
Penalties. He's got a drive-through penalty upon everything else. I think it's time to pack in at the Aston Martin garage. It's not been their day. And someone else, I mean Rayner, the person starting P2, looked strong in qualifying. Looked strong in qualifying again last race. He's DNF'd. So he really is. It's like a George Russell situation from his Williams days. He's missed a Saturday, but on Sundays he just can't perform. And I don't think that's down to him. I think he gets extremely unlucky, to be fair.
Yep. Tom's had had a moment, but in this race, Tom has gained 16 positions. In this race, he's now in P3 now, Tom.
That is brilliant. To be fair, that's a brilliant recovery drive. I mean, he kept saying, "Wow, he's made a heck of a recovery drive," and then, "Oh, he's bottled this recovery drive," and then he's back again. But 10-lap-old wet tyres.
And it's in this lap.
And the safety car is in this lap, so we will have 5 more racing laps, I believe. Michael will bunch up the pack very much. He's going to want to leave Brandon.
I think he'll go late, probably, like Michael.
Yeah,
because Brandon will get probably like better traction off the last corner, so we should go late, hopefully.
Well, I think Brandon, with these intermediate tyres, we'll see which is the better race tyre now. We ride on board with Brandon, who's a bit slow out of the hairpin, but he's very close to the back of that Haas car, and he's getting ready for him to accelerate. Jake gets another penalty. When's that Haas car gonna go? Oh, there's contact between Brandon and Michael, and Tom was right alongside them. Will he pick up a penalty? I don't think he will.
And
there's yellow through sector 3.
There's a slow Williams here, and it's going to be right here, like what's happening here. And there's major
chaos. Oh, there's chaos. There's absolute carnage at the back.
Yeah, because it's major desync. And Jakey's retired on track, so that he's not very good at all, but.
Well, that was a horrendous restart. Carnage at the back. Lots of penalties being handed out left, right, and centre. But one thing we've got to pick up on. Brandon is now a second off Michael. So,
and
Michael.
DNF as well. Like Boswell.
So we've had now 4 people DNF. No, 5 people with DNF.
Yep.
Mendel,
the
Psychotics
are not working at all.
And yeah, absolutely. Unless, and this is true, wet tyres are very easy to warm up. And going that slow under the safety car, maybe the Inters aren't up to racing heat. But Brandon's shown an overwhelming amount of pace this race, and where we were almost convinced they'd made an incredible strategy call.
I think it's number fairly blunder, to be honest.
I think everyone else is struggling on those intermediate. I mean, two of the intermediate drivers have 2 of the Inters DNF. And 2 of them are at the back. 13, and now he's under pressure from Toppel. Toppel's going to go down the inside into
and he moved on.
Oh no, he spun! He spun! Oh, this is absolute chaos! And it's unbelievable! And I think, is that damage to the Ferrari Abanta Brandon? He's been so dominant all race. Toppel, it's a Haas 1-2. And this is absolute carnage. You've got to feel for Abanta Brandon.
There's everywhere as well. There's desync everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think Zycotics left. Because Zycotics left major desync.
Yeah, I think it's because I think someone lagged out. I'm not sure.
I think it was because Zycotics left because he's lobby host, bro.
Yeah, Boswell saying in the Discord chat, very unhappy.
Yeah, because Brandon is struggling though. So.
Yeah. Brandon, those intermediates, they were not the tyre. If he just stayed out on the wets, it's absolute heartbreak. You know, in one way, he's gone to the wrong tyres, and he's kind of done a reverse. He's pretty much done a Lando Norris. He's on the wrong tyre, and he's got the race. Safety car. And there's another safety car. So it might not be all over for Brandon. He can pit this lap. He can go on to some different tyres for wets.
Brandon,
so he can definitely get better tyres.
Why is everybody going like so slow now?
Everyone's going very
super slow. What's happening here?
So this race has gone from, and I really hate to say this, but this race went from being brilliant to being
safety car, crazy.
to being safety car, a lot of lag, and then it's been slightly ruined at the end due to lag and obviously host migration and
it's just destroyed it, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's really unfortunate. But positives, we've got some new people that are going to be on the podium, like Toffel, I think, and ARL Jonah.
But JLB has survived it, and he's like in P4, so
yeah.
So
I don't know. It could be. It could be Brandon's
setup. Why people like stopped, like Spuds stopped? There's like a whole queue of people now.
Yeah, that's a massive separation. Yeah. But they'll catch up pretty quickly.
And
that is unfortunate for ARL Jonah.
For like the P3.
20-second time penalty for ARL Jonah. And I think you get that for if you have a drive-through penalty, as James gets another time penalty. I think that's if it doesn't get served, you get a 20-second time penalty. We got 12 people watching.
Though. Yeah, the VSC though.
He's only a VSC. I didn't realise that.
And
but we're on the way again. Look, and Michael, the man who won at Circuit Paul Ricard at the opening race of Season 3, is set to win again when he looked in a horrendous position. And we've got Toffel Army back. Toffel Army were in the chat for like half of the race at Paul Ricard, and they're back here to spectate, well, their driver finish P2.
And JLB goes to the move on like Quinn Chaser as well.
So there's lots of stuff happening behind. That looks like the Alfa Romeo of Hella High trying to make his way around JLB, and Oletech picks up a 3-second time penalty. Shouldn't matter though, as he's down in 14th.
Well,
and that's very close, and there's contact between Hella High and JLB. Down the straight we go. He's going to move to the inside of the track, and those intermediate tyres have not worked at all for Hella High. No traction at all. But now Tom is going to be all over the back of JLB. Hella High, and he's going to go for it. Surely down the inside, to the hairpin, and he's going to make that move stick. But he's going to go for the switchback Hella High, but he will not be able to get it done. Brilliant move from Tom.
And Foggers went to the move on like JLB as well.
So JLB, the Ferrari strategy didn't work. We're on board with Brandon here, the man who led the race for pretty much the entire race, and is now.
And there's been contact here.
Right in front of us.
Yeah.
Hella High, JLB with Hella High.
And Topel is catching like Mickey as well.
He's on 6 lap old wet tyres, and his teammate is on 20 lap, so he could be down for some last lap drama here at Miami. Here at, well, what I thought was going to be a very boring race has turned out to be an extremely eventful one, with a lot of drama, a lot of controversy happening.
And Tom go for the move on like Quinn Chaser, like as well. So.
Yeah, on Vincenza. Vincenza, where is it?
Goes deep. So Tom might go for the switch back here.
Yeah,
and
but
Tom,
he doesn't manage to. He's not going to be side by side going through.
Dave will be side by side through here. Oh, he does. And Tom does it as well. Just the intros are not working at all. Even Spud's AI is like keeping up.
I keep getting this glitch where I keep switching to a spectator, but it keeps showing me a different car. I was spectating Tom there, and it switched to Fargo, and because the cars look slightly slimmer.
Like Matthias went deep, and that's unlocked the win.
Oh no, it's promoted Toppel to the lead of the race, but we weren't even watching that, and that is heartbreak for Michael, another man who was leading the race, and just on the final corner to start the final lap of this Grand Prix, Toppel takes the lead. And I've said this a lot about I said this about Michael, and I said this about Banter Brandon, but surely he'll cruise home to take his first victory in this, well, for this season. Toppel should cruise home and win at Miami at the second race, which will promote Haas far, far up the order, because they've won last race and they'll win here too. Michael is too far back, surely, to get back into this race. And he's got ARL Jonah behind him, although it shouldn't matter because Jonah's got a 20-second time penalty. But let's see what ARL will try and do to the end of this race.
Battle here with like the Ferraris as well, like 8, 9 and 10.
P9 and 10. Oh, that was contact surely with the wall for James. He got all out of shape. And a lot of ARS being
and Jonah
used.
on McHale there. Like Jonah on McHale. On like the last corner there.
Well, he could get him on track,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, he'll be too far. He's got too much time penalties, so actually,
it won't really matter, to be honest.
But it shouldn't matter because we should be focusing on this man, Topo, who's been pretty silent, had nothing happening for him all race up until now, where he's just cruised into P1 as his teammate makes a mistake. And on the second to last lap of this Grand Prix, Topo took the lead of this Grand Prix and he made no mistakes since then. And Topo will cross the line to win the Miami Grand Prix. And it's celebrations for Haas and disappointment for Ferrari.
And Fargo on like hill high here.
And Tom will finish P3. And there's still lots happening. And yes, Fargo binned it. He's lost it. At the final stages of this Grand Prix, he crashed over the line. But I think he takes P12 over the line, so that's unfortunate for him.
16th position, Tom gets P3 in this race.
I don't care. I mean, he surely will get driver of the day, but he should be driver of the day because what a drive from him. What a recovery. But I don't think it's spoken about enough. Topo from P9. I'm sorry, P10. Yeah, P10 on the grid takes the win here at Miami. 9 overtakes and a mistake from his teammate late on the second to last lap. Almost on the last lap. Topo wins the Miami Grand Prix and it's celebrations for Haas for another weekend. Tom gets driver of the day, which is exactly expected because what a drive from him. But we see the podium celebrations. Banter Brandon leaves the session, and I'm not surprised, but this man, what a drive from Topo. Unspoken about pretty much the whole race, and he made a move at the very end to win. So we're a Haas 1-2, and I'm sure Michael will be very disappointed that he made that mistake. But he can still be happy for his teammate, because what a drive from him. So that brings to a close the Miami Grand Prix, and Topo wins for the first time. It's a Haas 1-2 with Tom.
And it's a Czech 1-2 as well.
Oh yeah, brilliant for all the Czech fans. But Tom takes the fastest lap, driver of the day, and P3, finishing out the podium places after starting P19 from the grid. What a race from him, but absolute heartbreak for the likes of, well, where are they actually on the grid? I think they got promoted to, Brandon got promoted to P6, and I'm not sure where JLB finished in the end, but well, it was unfortunate for them. But they went for the Inters.
I just didn't work.
They went for the Inters, and it didn't pay out in the end. It just didn't work out in the end. So very unfortunate for them. But well, that's that. So I don't think, but the championship standing should be, I think, Michael
I'll check the
increases
standings
his
now
lead.
As well.
Yeah,
Because
Michael will increase his lead.
Yeah. Yep. Because Michael will now have 50 points, and I don't know.
Yeah, well, Michael was...
because Brandon was like low in the standings, and if he won the race, he would go up like a few places. So that result has hurt his championship as well.
So Michael will increase his lead at the top. JLB, what could have been for him, and mainly for his teammate Brandon, who finished last on, I think he finished last on, actually, I think Topo's a reserve driver, actually. So, a reserve driver winning is not something that you see
often.
every day. But, fair play to him. I genuinely think he deserves to get a seat next season, because what a drive from him. I mean, I didn't see many. I don't know if he got any penalties at all that race, but
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic drive from him. Being a reserve driver as well, definitely should earn himself a seat. I think Brandon finished last place. No, Brandon finished 10th at the last race
Because of the big, yeah.
France, and if he'd have won today, that would have promoted him a lot in the standings and could have really helped his championship battle. But we know now that he does have ability. He does have that ability. He just needs to get the strategy right, because he had it all perfected until he went on to the intermediate tyres, and they just didn't work like I think the strategist said they would. Which is really unfortunate for them, but unfortunately that is the way the cookie crumbles in F1. But that is the Miami Grand Prix. Everyone who tuned in and stayed with us, I hope you enjoyed, and well, you should return. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so tune in for then. But this has been Aurora Racing League, the Miami Grand Prix.